Hand basic skin incisions. Hand basic skin incisions. This video has been produced from a book source. I thank the editors and authors, S. Terry Canal and James H. Beattie. Citation: Canal, S. and Beattie, J. 2007. Campbell's Operative Orthopedics, 11th edition, Mosby Elsevier, USA. As long as certain principles are observed, skin incisions can be made anywhere on the hand and not only in or near major skin creases. Figures. Incisions within deep creases should be avoided. Here subcutaneous fat is sparse, and moisture tends to accumulate, macerating the skin edges. An incision should be long enough to expose the deep structures without excessive stretching of the skin edges. Greater exposure is possible if the skin and subcutaneous fat are dissected from the underlying fascia. The tissue beneath the skin incision usually is converted into a mobile oval or elliptical opening. The placement of an incision applies only to the skin. Entries into deeper structures are made according to their anatomy and may be opposite in direction to those made in the skin. Although the skin incision over the radial surface of the wrist for de Quervain stenosing tenosynovitis may be transverse, and the underlying incision in the stenosed sheath is longitudinal. Correct skin incisions in hand. A. Midlateral incision in finger. B. Incision for draining felon. C. Midlateral incision in thumb. D. Incision to expose central slip of extensor tendon. E. Inverted V incision for arthrodesis of distal interphalangeal joint. F. Incision to expose metacarpal shaft. G. Incision to expose palmar fascia distally. H. Incision to expose structures in middle of palm. I. L. Incision of base of finger. J. Short transverse incision to expose flexor tendon sheath. K. S. Incision in base of finger. L. Incision to expose proximal end of flexor tendon sheath of thumb. M. Incision to expose structures in thenar eminence. N. Extensive palmar and wrist incision. O. Incisions in dorsum of wrist. P. Transverse incision in volar surface of wrist. Q. Incision in base of thumb. R. Alternative incision to drain a felon. Generally, shorter incisions may suffice on the dorsum of the hand because here the skin is more mobile. Through a 7.5 cm lazy S longitudinal incision on the mid-dorsum of the wrist, structures can be exposed from the extreme radial side of the wrist to the extreme ulnar side or from the tendons of the extensor pollicis brevis and abductor pollicis longus to that of the extensor carpi ulnaris. Parallel or nearly parallel incisions that are too close together or too long should be avoided because healing may be slow, or skin necrosis may occur because of impairment of the blood supply. Scars that adhere to the underlying structures, especially bone, should be avoided if possible. The offset incision is helpful. The first incision is carried through the skin and subcutaneous fat, and after a flap is undermined on one side, the deep approach is made through the fascia and muscle parallel with but offset from the skin incision. The plane of motion of a part is approximately perpendicular to the long axis of skin creases. An incision should not cross a crease at or near a right angle because the resulting scar, being in the line of tension created by motion, hypertrophies, it may limit motion because a mature scar would not stretch like skin. Although true elsewhere in the body, this principle is more important when dealing with the hand, especially the fingers, because the development of contractures results in significant impairment of function.